All right, moving on to day 5. It's day 9 of the month, but it's day 5 for me in terms of what I'm up to. I just read through it. I haven't started coding it, but I've read through it. At first, I read it and I was like, "What the hell is it? What is this talking about?" And I think I get what we're doing now. So yeah, so this is a series of instructions. We start at the beginning, and we have to follow the instruction, and the number tells us how far to move up or down. So positive number means move down, negative number means move up, and we start out at this position. Each time we follow an instruction, we change the instruction that we just followed. It's like after following the 0 instruction, then the instruction at this position becomes 1. It always goes up by 1, so eventually this will become potentially -2. It'll go up by 1. So I think that makes sense. So let's see if I can get that right. So source. Okay. All right. All right. So yes, cargo test. All right. So I guess our test can be the example. Right, so maybe we say something like assert equal, ultimately we need a number, which is like how many steps. So maybe how many steps, example 1.txt, and that should be 5, okay. And then for our main function, we can say we're going to print out how many steps for puzzle input.txt. And I guess actually we can do it like this. So let input equals include stir. And then here we can do include stir. Right, so then we can write our function, which is going to be input stir, and it'll return maybe a U size. So cargo test. Oh, didn't do it right. This does seem like a lot of parentheses. Still too many? Oh. Well, that makes sense actually. So let's do cat to sample1.txt. Okay. And then puzzle input.txt can come from here. A lot of instructions. Oh my goodness. Okay, cargo test. All right, nice. Cargo run. All right, so how do we want to actually do it? So I think the way that they've sort of like written it is a way that we can think about it, where parentheses are going to show us the current position. So let instructions, let's say let current instruction equals 0, and then let instructions equals that's mutable, and this should also be mutable. Let mute instructions equals input dot split white space collect. Is that right? Count for type. So I think we want this to be like a vec of strings. That doesn't work. Oh, it does work maybe, but we just don't know how to print that out. So we tell Rust, go ahead and print it out however you want. All right, cool. So, and I guess actually we want these to be numbers. So it should actually be a vec of I32s. So we can say map of word word.parse into an I32 like that. That didn't work. Oh, right. Then we can unwrap. Okay, great. We can also cargo format and reload just to make this more readable. Thank you, cargo format. Alright, so now we have our instructions as a mutable vector of I32s, and I think we're in a pretty good position. So we can do something like loop do. We can do one more thing, which is like let step count equals 0, and eventually we're going to return step count, right? Okay. So let mute current instruction equals 0. So we're going to keep looking at the current instruction and then go to the instructions and find out, all right, what is the current instruction? We need to pull up the vec docs to remind ourselves how to get a value out of index, which should be doable. Okay, get. So we can say get. Nice. All right, so let so how about this? So we can say if match instructions, or wait, if let some next instruction equals instructions.get current instruction. Maybe we'll call this a jump. Else return step count, right? So like if the current Maybe we should call this current instruction index. Then we can say step count plus equal 1. We can say current instruction index equals or plus equal jump. We can also say what about set? Is there a set? I don't want to insert, I want to replace. Okay. Alright, so we want to bump the step count. We're going to want to jump to the new index, but we need to also change the jump to let me just say current instruction index plus equal 1. That's not going to work, right? No, okay. Well, let's just make this an I32. What? Oh, Swift indices. Okay. So Russ was like, well, this had to be usize because you're using it as an index, so it must be. Okay. Okay. Well, I should be able to just say as I32. Or rather, as usize. Okay. Mutable bar occurs here. Huh. Oh, an immutable. Well, can I do get mute then? I know I saw get mute is a thing. Okay. No implementation for I32 plus equal mute I32. Alright, I've sort of lost track of what's going on. Alright, let's just undo a few things. This feels like too much business. Alright, so if let sum jump equal instructions.get current instructions index. So what does get actually return? Returns a reference. Okay. Did you mean star jump? Borrow occurs here. Cannot borrow instructions as mutable because it's also borrowed as immutable. Contains. Okay. So what am I doing? Okay. Okay. This will eventually return an option. And options have what values? Or what methods, right? They have an isNone and an isSum. Okay. Alright, so if we do have the jump, alright, so at least we have an infinite loop here. Alright, so in the none case, we just want to return step count. Great. But the sum case remains a little problematic. So step count plus equal 1. Can we do that? We can. Okay. And then we want to do instructions. So star jump plus, or no, okay. So this is a reference to the to that value. So I think we want to replace that value. We can do it like that. We can, nice. And then this is the thing we were kind of struggling with. So then we can do current instructions index plus equal star jump. And that's where we can't do it. Expected use size Found I32. Instructions index. Oh, maybe I see what we're getting at. So, okay, so current instruction index should be an I32 when we initialize it, because it can. It could become negative eventually, but when we use it, I think we need to do something like if current instructions index less than 0, we just return step count. We're just done. And then now that we know it's positive, we can treat it as a positive number when we're using it to index in. Okay. All right, great. Or wait a sec. Okay. Cargo test, cargo run. All right, great. I wonder if that worked. So, okay, just to recap what just happened. So, when we're trying to index into a vector, it doesn't make sense to index in with a negative number. And so that's why you need to use a usize to index in, because vectors just don't support negative indexing. But we want our jump to potentially become a negative jump, because it could be I guess I think this was necessary. Let's just try it one more time without it. Maybe it wasn't necessary. Maybe it wasn't necessary. Well, I'm going to keep it. I don't mind it. But maybe it wasn't necessary. Alright, so let's see if our answer is actually correct. Great. Alright, so I guess I'll add a note. This might not have been necessary. Cargo format wants us to get rid of a comma. That's fine. Add day 5 star 1 solution. And I guess let's take a look at part 2, see if it is kind of lovable or not. Now the jumps from stranger. After each jump, if the offset was 3 or more, instead decrease it by 1, otherwise increase it by 1 as before. After each jump, if the offset was 3 or more, instead that. Alright, well, cargo new bin day 5 star 2. Let's just borrow all of this. Let's just copy over all of that. So let's update. So this should now become 10. Because apparently 10 is now correct. Alright, after we jump, if the offset was 3 or more. Alright, so I guess each of these values is an offset. So I think that should be pretty straightforward. So like if jump greater than or equal 3, right. Oh, no. So we always want to do step count plus equal 1. The thing that's different is this. Alright, so, but this has to happen first. Okay. So I think this looks right, so let's just try it. Yeah. Okay, that definitely took longer to run, but it did complete relatively quickly. And there we go. Right. Okay. Alright, so yeah, that's a pretty small change. And, yeah. Day 5 star 2 session. Alright, that was day 5. Bye-bye. Where's my stop button?